Good morning, good evening, and welcome to World of Warships. My name is Robin, and today we are back for a good old commented episode like we used to make. It has been a while since I've done that, I know, but I was busy enough bringing you guys some content for the Random Acts of Ownage series. Today is also a special day. We will be sailing in the Tier 10 Japanese battleship Yamato, but this game comes from a friend of mine, Oathclarer UK, who kindly provided the replay. And oh boy, are we in for a ride. Oh, but first of all, where are my manners? Thank you very much for tuning in the video. I really appreciate it, and I hope you will enjoy your time here. I never commented games that were not mine before, that's the first, but trust me, you will not get disappointed. So, without further ado, let's review the details of the ship we're about to sail in. Yamato embarks the largest caliber in the game, that's almost enough said. 460mm guns with a top range of over 26 kilometers. She has 97,200 points of health and reaches a top speed of 27 knots. Her anti-air defense system is rated 70, her surface detection is 13.8 kilometers, and the armor thickness goes from 16 to 650 millimeters. The build Oathclarer UK is using is pretty standard for Yamato. Starting with the upgrades, we have Main Armament Modification 1, Damage Control System Modification 1, Aiming System Modification 1, Damage Control System Modification 2, Concealment System Modification 1, and Main Battery Modification 3. For his commander, Yamamoto is a Roku of course. He chose Priority Target, Expert Marksman, AR, Basics of Survivability, Superintendent, Fire Prevention, and Concealment Expert. I have never featured the legendary Yamato on this channel before, but Oathclarer UK, demonstrated in the upcoming game, showcases some pretty good discipline sailing the ship. So, without further ado, let's take the Yamato to battle. And here we are. On the map Tears of the Desert, Epicenter mode. Oathclarer UK, that I'm going to call Trev now for short, got himself a left flank spawn and decides to make his way towards a very centered position. In this case, I believe it is quite interesting. I suppose his plan is to assess the situation first, wait and see where the enemy will be pushing, and then react accordingly. I briefly want to clarify that this game is pre-rework, so the concealment is not yet normalized, the anti-air system is still the good old one, and there is no aircraft carrier in this game. The gameplay is quite actual though. Matchmaking wise, we will see the lineups right now. Couple of tier 8s here and there, but mostly 10, nothing out of the ordinary. So, with that in mind, Trev is slowly pushing at 3/4 speed, waiting for a target. Most of his team are bunching up in the south, leaving the northern flank quite open. Only 2 destroyers in that game, Harugumo already pushing center, backed up by a Zhao. Talking from my experience with Yamato, out of all the I-tier battleships, I believe it is one of the toughest ships to sail. Sure, you have got a monstrous firepower. Armor does not mean a lot to you, at least not on the receiving side, but then comes the dilemma. Yamato is a pretty vulnerable ship, quite slow, not especially maneuverable, with rather rough turret traverse and the infamous chicked bow that more than once was the downfall of the ship. You don't have 27 clicks of range for nothing. All of this to say that Yamato is not really a brawler. Early game, you have to pay attention to your positioning because most of the time, when you get yourself in a sticky situation, your chances of getting out in one piece are very limited. Good start though. Harugumo managed to secure the center cap uncontested, and some enemies are finally appearing. If you watch Trev's positioning right now, he is taking his sweet time, coming almost to a full stop and picking the best targets already. He is going to hang out the Gulf line for a good portion of the game and wait until the battle develops, all the while trying to land some damage here and there. Although I'm not a huge fan of his team position so far. Intel says there is at least 3 enemy battleships and 2 cruisers pushing the northern flank. I know this is still very early to say, but Trev knows this could be a threat, so instead of following the train down the southern flank, he decides to hold there and participate in fighting the northern enemy force. First salvo against Yamato, flat broadside, lands for 1 over pen only, but then you realize that Yamato's main battery reload, with the MB3 modules installed of course, is down to 26 seconds. That's kinda scary if you ask me. So he is very comfortable holding that position. It's going to allow him to punish some broadsides since he is sitting in a crossfire real estate. I like to call it that way, sorry. See, that was a 22k salvo on the Montana right there. Pretty nice from that range. But even if he's quite far away from the action, he can easily use his concealment as well to disengage on demand, as long as no destroyers are in the area. But then enemy Shima has been revealed on the southern flank, and the center cap is only contested by a brave enemy Charles Martel. And well, his team already lost their Friedrich. Look at how bunched up allied warships still are in front of him. Although, this is rather classic on this map. Players are often scared to go for the objective, and most of the time it's just teams flanking teams around the outer layers, trying to win a flank instead of supporting destroyers in the center. I'll say it once again, but Trev is holding that center, passive-aggressive position, with that very goal in mind, preventing the team from being flanked. Friendly Zhao is alone in the north flank, actually. Richelieu wants none of that and is falling back already, etc, etc. So, popping in and out of concealment, Trev is going to target the enemy Hindi, trying to help out the friendly Zhao. First salvo is a miss, unfortunately. Even though the lead seemed correct, German warship slowed down. No problemo. 26 seconds later, another salvo is out, plunging straight into the Hindenburg citadel and securing Trev's first frag. 1 down, 11 to go, but ooh, there was a destroy in the center after all. Friendly reminder, this is pre-rework, so Battleship AP is still able to obliterate destroyers. Enemy Akizuki is picking up a fight with the Haru, bad choice I'd say, and Trev is going to assist. 1 full pen, over 3k damage, enough for the Harugumo to secure, but there's a more pressing target to focus. 1 Yamato is setting up to push the center as well. Crossfire real estate, this is where his positioning is going to prevail. And people, that's what happens when you show broadside to a Yamato. Big, nice, juicy 24k shots with a citadel. That enemy Yamato actually got lucky, I'd say. That 2.0 Sigma did not really kick in right there. Enemy Yamato realizes the threat and starts to angle, but for those who don't know, Yamato's caliber allows to overmatch up to 30mm of armor, which is the thickness of most high-tier battleships' bow, Yamato included. So, angle or not, that's a 22k salvo right on the nose. And the enemy Yamato that still managed to finish off the friendly Harugumo gets taken out shortly after by friendly Richelieu. But hey, there's more. Another Yamato, completely clueless of Trev's position so far, is setting up in quite the same manner, not angled enough against these guns. Whatever the range is, to be honest. Trev is taking full advantage of his position right now. He still hasn't moved more than a couple of 100 meters towards the center. His team, though, is still struggling to push forward on the southern flank. I'd even say they are losing ground, actually. But Trev is disciplined and focuses one thing at a time. And that is dealing with that enemy Yamato. The latest, heavily flanked by a friendly Richelieu, is going to push forward and try to get out of dodge. But Trev says no, at least not before you eat a 28k salvo, again right on the nose. I gotta say his aim is on point. Finding that sweet cheek at range can be quite tricky, but so far he's landed 4 citadels and that's already a feat. What's even more of a feat is that enemy Yamato that still did not get the memo. Just look at the grouping. Do I need to say anything more? No, that's what I thought. Rest in peace, Yamato. 55k salvo, devastating strike, and just like that, Trev gets his second frag and is already up to 177k. Enemy Martel is still bravely playing the objective. Kudos to him, I gotta say. He is quite alone now and almost surrounded. Yeah, he basically gets halved instantly by the Richelieu. Bad times for him. Trev is going to use his spotter plane to get an angle on him. Just watch his range go up to 32 kilometers. That's just ridiculous, actually. But the salvo hits the island and misses the Martel. Okay. Time for him to pay attention to the minimap and plan his next moves. He hasn't lost a single point of HP so far. That is quite funny, but at the same time, his position, all the while being predictable because, well, he never moved, was still aggressive enough to achieve what he did. In the meantime, nothing has really progressed on the other flank. Both teams are licking their wounds from a prolonged fight, and each side has lost 4 ships total. Only the initial hold on the center cap allowed Trev's team to maintain the point advantage. All of this to say that the fight is far from over. Taking some shots on the Montana in the meantime, decent damage overall. Friendly Richelieu is now in a bad spot, but holding best he can. There is plenty of ways to analyze what Trev is doing or think he should do right now. Stalemate in one side, retreating flankers on the other. Poor Martel that needs finishing. He doesn't really know if he should commit to the south flank fight before the leftovers are eaten, if you catch my drift. If he's not careful, he could also be surprised by the Monty, who technically could have his broadside at some point. So he is cautious even though he's full health. He doesn't want to make any mistakes now, basically. Some people would say that he's camping hard, and I could understand the opinion, but hey, he's doing well so far and is saving the HP for the endgame engagements. Enemy Lyon is spotted, overextending into his line of sight. Salvo over the island lands for, well, nothing. Okay, just ricochets, which is surprising on a broadside RNBB, but here is a target that Trev definitely wants to engage. Reversing Yamato is engaging friendly Cleveland, and oh, that's a mistake, dear Mino. Even though the British cruiser got the acceleration from idle, the time it takes to break reversing momentum is enough for Trev to line up a shot. Salvo looks okay, and okay, sure. 3 raw citadels, please. Yamato erased from the game without any further ado. Third frag, devastating strike, 200k barrier breached, and I love how, by still holding the same spot after almost 12 minutes, he has some action still coming his way. And oops, friendly Selem fails hard. Mano torpedoes that were spotted long time ago connect, and enemy Martel gets the kill. That's unfortunate, but Richelieu, flanking from the back, assists the Cossack on finally liberating the center point from any contesting. Now, finally, it is time to relocate. One entire side of the map has been cleaned, and I believe that's what Trev was waiting for. Although he wasn't waiting for the Cleveland to get obliterated by enemy Shimatorps right under his nose. And just like that, in a matter of not even 2 minutes, Trev is now the first line of the other flank. That goes to show how quickly a game can turn. He was quite safe from any harms so far, but now most of the enemy team will target him on sight, and he has to ready up for that. Moreover, he is now located. First conclusion would be that the enemy Shima is lurking very close. Well, duh, Cleveland just died from her. But regardless of that, Trev doesn't want to panic. He keeps the same mindset and let the enemy team push into him. Enemy Des Moines is up. Not the best way to engage a Yama in the open seas like that, and yep, 11k salvo in, Confederate on top of it. Trev is hitting, and is hitting hard. Second Des Moines is playing smarter, lobbing shells over the island undetected, and chipping away some fair chunk of damage, setting fires on top of it. Looking at the minimap now, his teammates are trying to flank from the north, but losing Salem and Cleveland left the team outnumbered, and the game isn't looking too good. Sure, they still hold the center and even have captured an outer layer, but a strong push from the enemy team could turn the tide of the battle quickly. Only one fire after plenty of HE hits, he is A-OK and decides to let it burn. So, a switch finally flips in Trev's head. The best defense is to attack. Full forward, he wants to engage these demons, but the second he gets some speed, Shima torpedoes are here to meet him. But again, discipline. Remember, he did not aggressively use his damage control yet against the previous fire. He's even going to wait a fair amount of time for a potential second torpedo set to ensure he will not get hit again and perma-flooded. Friendly Zhao managed to score some torpedo hits on the first Des Moines. That game is getting down to the wire minutes after minutes. And when I said that Yamato was quite vulnerable, Trev is already down to 37k. Sure, with plenty of heals left, but they have to rearm and he is on full demcom now. 14k on Des Moines. That guy should have turned in right now and tried to cut line of sight ASAP. Instead, he decides to go for the Zhao and just sit there, flat broadside to a Yama. I believe he knew he was fucked anyway, so he went for the softer targets before going down, which he does. It's a broadside Des Moines versus Yama at point blank after all. 23k added to the damage counter, and a fourth frag. Now it's on. The enemy team messed up their opportunities to come back, and it's time to clean up. Both Des Moines are down, only battleships Trev can easily angle against. Although there is still that bloody, sneaky Shimakaze lurking around here somewhere. He still has to be very cautious about her, I understand. She was last spotted, right behind this very island, so he pops up his spotter plane, but apparently Shimakaze is already out of dodge. If I was Trev right now, I'd be so aggressive and I'll push any ships to get my Kraken. But he is not as greedy as I can be and plays it very patiently. He's waiting for the allied Zhao to catch up. She potentially has hydroacoustic and she can escort him. Oh wait, scratch that. Shimakaze is detected all the way up the 8th line. So it is clear to push. Enemy Montana is in line of sight. Trev realized that with the Shimakaze gone, he can freely engage and actually, once again, crossfire at will. We can see that Richelieu is not doing very well, and might fall very soon. He's got to use that diversion to damage that Monty as much as he can. He's still backed up by the Zhao. They should not have any issues dealing with the US battleship. He even takes the luxury of trying some back turret shots on the Tirpitz. And yep, here goes Richelieu. This enemy team is putting up a hell of a fight, if you ask me. Although we can clearly see that this 4v4 isn't really a fair one. A clear HP advantage on his team. And as soon as the enemy Lion goes down, it will only be a matter of time before the enemy Montana follows. Although, on the other side of the map, a friendly Cossack for some reason decided not to chase the enemy Shimakaze, even if technically they have the same concealment and he could have kept her busy. Now, will Trev be able to get the kill before the Zhao cooks him into a crisp? It seems like yes. Good pen on the Montana superstructure, and here goes the Kraken. Yay! Free heal and reduced reload. That Tirpitz is not about to have a fun time. But Trev is located again. Shimakaze is back around, and even if he slows down to engage that Tirpitz and try to use the island as cover, torpedoes might already be underway. I know it isn't your first time seeing Yamato in action, but this always makes me smile somehow. For a perspective, a Tago reload is 14.5 seconds on 203mm guns. This is a 13-second reload on 460mm guns. That Tirpitz stands no chance. Oh well. At this point, to be honest, Trev is just damage farming. He's over 300,000 points of damage right now, and is laughing. Shimakaze is also about to laugh. Yep, here comes the awaited torpedoes, and they are on target. One hit from the first set, Tirpitz blows up and grants Trev a 6th frag. 2 more hits from the second set, forces the damage control, and yep, he got caught. 3rd set incoming, and he'll get hit right after the active duration of his demcom. Double flood, and technically, Trev is now kinda fucked. Sure, the Yamato heal plus his active standard heal are keeping him afloat for now, but he definitely won't survive the full duration. To be also fully honest, what saved him as well was the extremely strong torpedo damage reduction. I believe it's 53% on Yamato if you get hit on the belt. Shimakaze could have just run and left Trev float to his certain death, but she also got caught by the very fast Zhao. Only one way to survive: kill the last remaining ship and win. Trev lines up a shot, and the lucky bastard gets the 7th frag on the Shima, securing a victory and saving his own skin. Looking at the scoreboards here, Trev managed to score a total of 335,000 points of damage, earned almost 1,000,000 credits, and gained a total of 14,000 XP. He achieved Confederate, 2 devastating strikes, Dreadnought, Kraken Unleashed, and High Caliber, sinking 7 ships in the process. Just shy of 4,000 base XP, clearly doubling his main rival Shimakaze and almost doing the same on the friendly Zhao, who came second. Overall, a very good team effort, even though Trev, combining sharp aiming skills with surprising positioning and great discipline, had the vast majority of the impact on that game. This was a pleasure to watch and comment on my end, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video as well. That is coming to an end now. Oh, by the way, before I forget, Oathclarer UK has his own Twitch channel and is online quite often during the week. Go check him out and give him kudos for me. Link in the description, of course. Thank you very much for watching all the way. I hope you had a good time here. Please rate the video. If you enjoyed it, thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. But stay tuned anyway. As always, there is more content to come about World of Warships. So, until then, you have a good one, and you take it easy.